Joseph does not say, God sent me here to give me all the things that Egypt had to offer. Joseph says, God sent me here because God is a rescuer. God sent me here to rescue you in spite of you. You didn't like my dreams, but newsflash, do you know that we were a wealthy family because God spoke to our father through dreams? And when I began to dream, why did you not realize that God was again speaking to our family through dreams? God was showing me through a dream this very moment when he would rescue you. And when God brought his word through me that said he would rescue you, your answer was to kill the rescuer. Familiar? Because I let that stuff go. This is not my home. Genesis 41 wasn't about Joseph. Who's it about? Actually, briefly, let me explain. God makes a promise in Genesis chapter 3 and verse 15. This promise involves the promised seed. He pronounces this promise in a curse against the serpent. The serpent believes exactly what God says, which is why in Genesis chapter 4 we have the first murder. What is the first murder? The seed of the serpent, Cain, kills the seed of the woman, Abel. What happens after that? In chapter 4, at the end of it, on into chapter 5, we get the announcement of the coming of Seth and the restoration of the godly seed. Then in chapter 5, we get a genealogy. And so there are 10 generations from Adam to Noah through the godly line of Seth. God wipes out the world in the flood and he preserves Noah, Shem, Ham, Japheth, and their wives. Why is this important? Because you've got to have husbands and wives in order to have seed. The seed that was promised still had not come to fruition. Eventually you come to a man named Terah who has an offspring by the name of Abraham. God makes a promise to that man named Abraham, and this promise involves, among other things, seed. But this promise is rather significant because he and his wife, particularly his wife, too old for seed. So how do you get promised seed if the seed-bearing woman is too old for seed? The answer is God must intervene.